Hello, everyone, and welcome to another show of T-Boys, the podcast of Philippine Golf. We're at Summit Point today. We're going to get some work done here. We've got a couple of shows lined up, but first of all, we've got the general manager of Summit Point Golf and Country Club, Mr. Vic de Guzman, as our guest today. Welcome to the show,
Welcome.
Vic.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, Vic was kind enough to set us up with some refreshments.
That's right.
While
That's
we
right.
have this little discussion.
That's right.
Summit Point is an interesting golf course in that it's a unique concept, and we've got to talk about golf courses like restaurants in a way that each restaurant is a concept, whether you're a steakhouse or ramen house or whatever. And this is a unique concept in the realm of golf. It's called a World 18.
That's right. Let me just add to the interest, so-called. Robert Trent Jones designed a lot of golf course. Robert Trent Jones Jr.
Yeah.
designed a lot of golf course. But this is actually his very first, what he calls a tribute golf course, wherein he got inspiration from some of the best golf holes all over the world, not just in the U.S., but Europe and all over
Australia
the world.
too.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So each hole here is inspired by a hole at a famous golf course, basically.
That's right.
Right? Which presents a lot of unique, I think, hole per hole. This is one of the strongest golf courses I know. I mean, if you set it up properly,
It's challenging.
You can make this a real bitch.
I spoke to Damien. What's this guy's name who won in the PGT?
Last week?
Yeah. Oh no. Anyway, he was telling me that he's seen several inspired golf course, tribute golf course, but this one somehow complements each other. It's not like you see one hole here and the other hole is a links course and the other one is.
So it doesn't look like a patchwork quilt.
That's right. It
looks
complements
like
its whole.
Like an integrated golf
That's
course.
right,
Something
that's right.
that was thought up.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like I said, there are holes from courses like Spyglass Hill and Pebble Beach and Augusta. And Scotland and Royal Melbourne. So there's really, I mean, if you just looked at the scorecard and looked at the golf holes where which provided the inspiration for a lot of these holes. On the surface, looking at it, you'd think, are those even going to go together, right? But they work.
It's getting together really good. At first, we were afraid that people would play just for the novelty of it. But once they've tried it and they see how integrated and that the challenge is consistently offered hole per hole, and the layout and how it is all put together nicely, the impression changes from being a novelty course to a really tough championship course.
Yes.
There are some incredibly tough holes here, especially when the wind is up.
That's right.
Actually, the two holes from Augusta, although not very long, can be very, very penal.
Oh yeah, you can say that again.
That's 12 and 13,
12.
is it?
Yes,
And
12
those
or
are
3.
11 and 12 at Augusta.
No, 12 and 13 is actually 12 and 13 here. Oh yeah, that's right.
It's 11 and 12.
11
not
and 12
Augusta.
of the Amen corner.
Right.
That's right.
So you've got a medium length par 4 and really a medium length par 3.
That's right.
Right. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but this green on 13 looks quite a bit bigger than the original at Augusta.
It is, and sans the landscape area at the back, but we have the same position of the bunker.
You can't copy everything.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, the same bunker at the middle, at the back. You have the bunker in front.
Right.
And of course the huge water.
Yeah. Well, that water definitely comes into play, and the whole plays across the wind.
That's right.
Usually, so
Yeah.
when the pin's on the right side, things get a little dicey there. And you've got some long holes here too.
Oh yeah, like just for today's World 18 Challenge for the PGTA, my hole number 11 is actually playing 512 yards.
And that's a par 4.
That's a par 4.
And it's playing into the wind today. We were out there this morning and it was blowing into the wind. I'm thinking, hey, this is a decent length par 5. But talk about some of the challenges. I know the course, faced some challenges early on, getting people out here to play, getting a critical mass of members together, and then maintenance issues down the road. Do you want to just take us through that a little bit?
When we started, I believe sometime 2003, 2004, then we opened for play about 9 holes. The landscape, meaning what is Batangas now, is not what it used to be. There's no Startol yet during that time. Right? There's no Startol. And even when Startol was built sometime in the late 2000, there was no exit near us. It's either Malvar or you go to the Lipa exit. Now we have the Balete exit, which brings you about 10 minutes from Startol to the clubhouse.
It's so much easier to get
That's
here
right.
now.
And again, unlike before when I believe the real estate bubble burst, wherein people were too reluctant to invest. That is when the time that we opened the club. So it wasn't so easy to sell. It was even difficult for people to see that what we have here. But now, I mean,
the climate's so different.
I'm so happy to say that we are now part of the conversation of being a decent golf course. That is,
I think more than decent. Yeah, more than decent.
You have a lot of. This is like a semi-permanent home of the PGT at this point. It's one of the regular stops, and all 3 tours make a stop here.
Yes.
You have a lot of big tournaments like the World Amateur Golf Championship.
Yeah, it's the home.
Its finals here. So if you set this up properly, this is a proper championship course.
I'm just happy that the members of the club have been very patient with Summit Point, that they allow us to show the community what we are and who we are, and for that reason we embrace tournaments like the PGT, the LPGT, the PGTA. The members actually welcome all of these tournaments to come here. Let me mention as well the World Amateur Golf having its almost permanent home here as well. So in a way that acceptance and that embrace of the members to having all these tournaments, great tournaments, come here to Summit Point is being reciprocated by us being talked about now. Being a good golf course, a good destination.
It is a good golf course. And there's a lot going on in Batangas, and you've got more good golf in either direction, north and south. You've got Malarait down the road. You've got Ayala Greenfields a little further up the road.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So you were eavesdropping in my meeting earlier that we're gonna have a Batangas circuit real soon.
This. When it comes to golf tourism, I believe in zones.
Yes.
Right, because it takes at least 2 great golf courses to make a destination.
That's right.
So you look for pockets, right? I mean, the ones that have the most promise are areas that have 2 or 3 really strong courses. Cavite has plenty. Logistics in and around Cavite are difficult. I mean, traffic and the road network being as such, but there are remedies, infrastructure remedies being built today to address all of that. Batangas has had less of those issues, so it's easier. It's been much easier to come and go, especially with the advent of the Star Toll. Now you put all of that together with 3 great golf courses: Ayala Greenfield, Summit Point, and Malaraya. I mean, pretty much within what, a 45-minute drive from end to end.
Yeah.
And that makes a very compelling location for golf tourism.
Imagine, like you said, 3 beautiful golf courses within an hour and a half from Manila. Good food, great weather. That's one thing I can say about our area. Great weather. We practically have about 7 to 8 months of cool weather here.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize the altitude that Lipa is at.
Yeah, I do not have the exact figures, but I believe we are about 800, 900.
It's just under like 1,000
Yeah,
feet. Yeah,
about
little under
sea level.
1,000 feet above sea level.
So it's the weather's really nice. It's cool. The people, they're so friendly. Okay.
Yeah.
The people in Batangas are so friendly. We have, did I mention we have good food? Goto, lomi.
I've been coming to Batangas a while, and I can vouch for the amount of good food that there is here.
Also, may I add,
shortage.
those 3 golf courses are actually 3 different golf courses.
Yes, completely different in design.
Different.
Yeah.
So it's good variety. I mean, it's great variety. Coincidentally, Jones also designed the Greenfields.
That's right.
Ayala Greenfield. So you have 2 Jones designs in this area, which is not a bad thing, right? I mean, his courses are very highly regarded throughout the world, and he's probably the leading golf architect in the country. I mean, he's got the most number of golf courses of any other architect. So it's not a bad name to have on the wall at your club.
Oh yeah, you can say that again. Yeah.
How has he responded to how Summit Point has developed?
Well, according to him, and this was, I read this somewhere, that, like I said earlier, it is his first tribute golf course, and that he is so proud of his work that he was able to put together 18 distinct yet complementing golf courses. So I guess it shows in his work that he really did a good job, because now the members are enjoying everything. It's nice.
And it's interesting because, you know, like many golf courses, Summit went through a lean time.
Yes.
You know, when the golf market really turned downwards, a lot of courses suffered, and Summit was one of them. It had maintenance issues, again, you know, because of the choice of grasses that were made early on, and which were pretty much the industry standard at that point. A lot of the challenges really stemmed from maintaining the grass.
You know what? Challenges, there's a lot to mention. But I just remembered something after you mentioned about challenges and maintenance.
Sure.
Same time last year, I made a rehab work on the green side bunkers. Just the green side bunkers. I have a lot of bunkers here in Summit Point.
You do.
We repaired the green side bunkers. We left the fairway bunkers as it is. Now, of course, logistically, I have to know the measurement, right? To my surprise, give me a good number. How big do you think is my bunkers, greenside bunkers here?
In terms of square feet?
Probably, or hectares, or square meters.
Oh my goodness. Wild guess? About a hectare's worth?
Yeah, you know what? After we measured prior to building it, because we put some liners underneath, I have 12,400 square meters of bunkers.
Wow. Over a hectare.
Yeah, that's about 1 point.
I've probably been in a lot of those.
That's a
and
size.
That's just the green side bunkers.
Just the green side.
I mean,
yeah, that's
that's
right.
the size of
some
one
of the
golf
fairway
ball.
bunkers are, I mean, especially like, what is that, number 5?
Yeah.
14 is from tee to green.
Yeah. And number
that's
5 too. Number 5, that whole mess of bunkers on the left.
The biggest greenside bunker I have is around 16 and 17.
Oh, 17, the par 3.
Yeah.
Baltusrol hole.
That's
The 16 is the St. Andrews hole.
16 is the par 5.
The par
That's my
five.
handicap 2.
Yeah, that's the St. Andrews hole.
Yeah, that the bunkers there is probably bigger than the green if you put
Oh
together.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
For sure,
Easily. Easily.
And that's a big green.
It is a big green, and it's wildly sloped too.
Yes.
Yeah, that green is, you know, of all of the holes here, that was the one I had issues with in the beginning. Well, nightmares, no, not. It didn't bother me that much, but it's just that there's almost nothing to aim at. Off the tee,
Yeah.
The 4-putt bunkers.
the 4-putt bunkers are right in the middle of the fairway,
That's
so you
right.
gotta choose a side, or you have to be able to fly them. Once you choose a side, you can't see where your next shot's going either. So you basically have,
And there are 2-putt bunkers
and there's
guarding.
exactly that guard the landing area,
Yeah,
one
that's
after the other.
That's right.
So you really have to know where those are, and if you're out of position and you don't know the course, I mean, it's going to be very hard, even
It
just to
is,
make
it
bogey
is.
if you're out of position. And then the whole green plays uphill, and then the green is so wildly sloped from left to right and then back to front. It makes it difficult to figure out just where to put your ball.
Yeah.
I mean, on every shot. I mean, it's the handicap 2 for a reason.
Well, but that's the thing about this golf course. I've played in the WAGC a couple of times, and it's like you play so well in the let's say 3 holes, and then you get to 1 hole, and it's just
And
going
it's
to
a big
kill
number.
you.
Yeah, I know.
If you get confident, if you
No,
get cocky,
You have to watch yourself really all the way around the course,
Yeah.
because you can make a big number anywhere.
yeah,
I mean, really, anywhere. The number 13 especially. I
Yeah.
mean, I hate to admit it, but I made a 7 there during an end gap tournament at one point.
you only have a few holes that there's less pressure for you
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
Like say hole number 1. It's got a
Yeah.
wide fairway, okay?
One's easy.
But after you
Relatively.
hit your drive,
The second shot's not.
the second shot, you have to carry about what?
Yeah, say 150.
120,
Yeah, 120, 150 yards over
Yeah.
water.
Over
Everything over water.
That's right.
So yeah, there's pressure on the second shot. The drive's easy. There's pressure on the second shot. Same could be said for 10.
Actually, come to think of it, our course, if you didn't warm up, it's not a good start.
No,
I mean, you have 2 consecutive holes that you have to cross water.
exactly. No, you got to be warm. You've
Well-
got to do something. At least now there's a range.
yeah.
Yeah.
They moved
Previously,
it.
I mean-
they moved the for the range, right? Because I remember the range was on the other side.
Oh
of the
yeah,
narrow
you
range.
have to drive your car about
you have to
5
drive.
minutes to get to the range.
Yeah.
But now it's just off tee number 9.
Yeah.
It's quite close to the drive. It's just
okay,
quite close
okay.
to the clubhouse.
All
now.
right, cool. Not that far.
Yeah, it's
Before
not-
you had to use your car in order
That's
to
right. Yeah.
No, and you definitely need to warm up. Man. There's a lot of water. You got a lot of water. You've got a lot of hazards. So there's OB in places. So,
So
this is one of those golf
one and
courses you
2
need to
are
warm up.
kind of tough starting holes.
And the problems are on the second shot. It's not so much the tee shot, but it's definitely there on the second shot.
Yeah.
I mean, both.
You
need
get
to
a
carry
little
water on
relief
both.
when you go to hole number 3. It's a short par 5.
Yeah.
Then you go to hole number 4. It's hitting against the wind with lots of bunkers left and right.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Then you have the long
Monster par 5.
par 5.
How long is that hole from the tips?
I really do not
It's-
know, but
it's
you know,
over
I
600.
play driver, I play rescue, I play 7 iron for my third shot. It's pretty long.
Oh, I've hit driver 3 wood and had 7-6 iron.
That's
Yeah.
left, and I'm not a particularly short.
But you know
driver.
what? You're talking about hole number 5.
5.
When you go to hole number 6,
Yeah.
that
6 is a
that
monster.
par 3 is averaging more than, I think it's averaging about 3.4.
No, it's such a tough hole because it plays uphill into the wind.
Yeah.
So whatever you're clubbing, you're going to have to increase it. Now, if for some reason the wind dies down and you go through the green, I think it's even more difficult from there because you don't know what you're not going to be
Yeah.
able to stop the ball. with the
I
pitch.
actually requested NGAP to reevaluate my course to re-rate the course, because I think we're just rated at 118. Very low.
That's very low.
Yeah, I think that's a little too easy.
And I believe hole number 6 is something like a handicap 15, which I believe it should be a single digit handicap hole, just because it's averaging above par.
No, and I don't think too many club players can get there in regulation. I mean, even if they teed up their second shot and hit the driver again, I think they'd still struggle with a third shot into the green. You know, it is to put in perspective, the hole will play about 620 yards or so from the tips, from the absolute tips.
We're talking about 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Then you go 7, the handicap 1.
Yeah.
So that's actually our version of the amen corner.
Yeah, that's a really tough stretch. And the front 9 is interesting because you've got 3 par 5s, 3 par 4s, and 3 par 3s. So and they're all really, really strong holes. Really, the only easy hole, if you want to call it that, is number 8.
Number 8.
That's right. I mean, that's the only hole that you're not too concerned when you get on the tee.
And if you're pretty long, 9 would be easy for you.
Yeah, 9 is not that hard. You either play over the bunkers or lay short.
That's right.
Either way,
You're hitting a short
max
iron to the
you're
green.
hitting a 8 iron into the green, or you should be hitting an 8 iron into the green. But the rest of the course is really strong, which is still my point, right? That if the course is set up properly, I don't think there's a class of player that it won't test.
Yeah.
Oh, but speaking of being really good, well, I'm gonna touch a little bit on the World 18 Challenge, which, by the way, I'm very grateful for the PGTA for allowing us to name the tournament ourselves. Yeah, they allowed us to name it. So we had naming rights. So I called it the World 18 Challenge. And just today, this morning, the day 1 of the PGTA, Mika Shin just shot 8 under.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but he went out early, and there wasn't too much wind then. So
let's see
really
how
good
it
scoring
goes.
conditions,
Yeah,
but he's
we'll
got to
see.
hold up. He's playing in the afternoon on tomorrow.
I think Clyde is
5 under.
Yeah, second with 5 under.
Yeah, there are 3 of them.
Yeah.
I believe there's this English fellow, Clyde, and somebody else tied at 5 under.
I also saw Juvic. By the way, Juvic is a member of the club.
Okay.
Mind you, he was not given an honorary membership. He bought it. That's how he loved the course. That's how much he loved the course. He bought into
bought
the
a
club.
share.
Okay? He bought a share. So he was dining at the restaurant earlier. And he told me, GM, darn, what did you do to the greens? I can't putt.
Well, that's the thing. The members play the course in one condition, one particular condition, and then a tournament like this comes along, and and then they don't really trick up the greens too much. They just speed them up, roll them a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
and all of a sudden, all those breaks that you know so well are gone. Right? I mean, it's playing really different. I think even the caddies are going to have a hard time reading the greens.
The greens are
at this point,
really hard.
and the greens are rolling at 12, which is a really nice surprise.
It's 12, but wait till you see tomorrow.
Oh wow! Well, that's why the players here are really good players. Like I've seen a couple of them outside in other tournaments, and they're
I'm
really
telling
good.
you right now, the field that we have today, absolutely great. You have Clyde, you have Tony Lascuna,
Mika Shin.
Mika Shin,
is exempt on the
Yeah.
Asian Tour.
Juvic.
Although he's practically Filipino. He lives in Davao.
Yeah,
His dad's
yeah.
based in Davao. Plays out of Apo. I think he speaks Bisaya too. So
Jubim Carlos.
yeah, Jubim's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jubim. I hope he gets his game back. He's searching a little bit, but it'll be interesting to talk to him, see what's going on inside his head.
We're
Ira is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good field. This is the PGT Asia, so
Yes.
you've got a higher class of professional, higher caliber of player here today.
Yeah, we're missing Tom here.
Yeah,
Tom
Tom-
recently won ADT.
Yeah, and that's his third win in the
Third
row.
win.
So
Number 1 order of
he's-
merit.
he's exempt on the Asian Tour already.
Yeah.
He's gotten onto the Asian Tour. The guy grew up in Riviera.
Oh.
He's like 17 years old.
17.
Man.
I'm really good friends with the both of the brothers, and they actually have a bet that if Tom wins ADT Order of Merit, his brother is gonna shave his head.
Oh, wow.
So
well, that's okay. That's not too big a penalty.
Actually, there's an
these days.
additional incentive for all the professional players that come here to Summit and play in any of the PGT or PGTA event. Like we've had the 2 women's championship, and we've had 2 of those, and this is the second World 18 for the men, and all of the winners gets to be an honorary member of the club. We are the only club that offers that.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice incentive. More incentive for the Pinoys to do well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that a Pinoy would win so that he would be able to enjoy the membership more.
yeah.
Yeah, true. They'll be here more. They can practice here.
That's right.
And it's a good practice. It's a good place to practice.
It's a good place to practice. I mean, you've got a great variety of golf holes. You have to deal with the wind here at Summit.
The wind in the afternoon.
The
it's
wind
just
is
brutal.
nuts here. I mean, I've almost been blown into a bunker.
Oh yeah.
No, quite literally. I was standing on top of 15, behind the green on 15. There's a big bunker there behind the
nice.
green. I was standing right on top of it, watching the rest of my flight come in. And
The gust of
a
wind.
gust of wind came from behind me, and I mean, I struggled not to fall into that bunker because it's still a pretty long way down.
Yeah.
Vic, going back to you've got a unique experience here at Summit Point because you opened the club.
Yeah.
Right? And then you took a hiatus.
Oh yes.
And now you're back at the club. You want to fill us in on that?
Oh well, okay. When I came in here, when Santa Lucia just completed its first 9 holes, then they were ready to open it up to the members. So I was fortunate to be part of that initial group. I'm the very first GM of the club to open it. I remember we had a container van as a clubhouse. Okay, you're laughing because
I remember it.
Yeah, you remember it. We had a container van for a clubhouse. So I saw through finishing the next 9 and the clubhouse. Okay, but prior to that, my background actually is into building golf courses. I was the logistical support for Boy Escanio, who did Southwood, Sherwood Hills, Forest Hills, and so somehow I saw how they prepare and build golf courses. So when I joined the group of Santa Lucia, they asked me to help out with that in the startup. Now, when we opened the club, I told Robbie Liviste, our president, that I'm gonna set up the club. I'm gonna hire the people. I'm gonna see through your very first tournament. But after that, I have to step back. And it's actually there was no issue at all. It's more of me. I feel that I wasn't equipped enough to be a player in the golf industry, in the management part of the golf industry. So I think that I needed more seasoning, and it wouldn't be fair for Summit Point that I am learning the ropes while I was handling it.
Like an on-the-job training.
That's right.
thing.
So I don't want to be an OJT. So I had to step back, honed on my managerial skills. Took on several activities, which includes wink wink, playing poker. Okay, and then 2 years ago, late 2017, I got a call from Robbie. He said, "Hey, you doing anything? You want to go back to Summit?" When a friend calls. So I said yes, and I'm back. I'm back home.
Well,
Feels like home.
Yeah, feels like home.
from 2017 to now, the growth of Summit in the industry has been phenomenal.
Yeah,
And we
no,
congratulate you for that.
A lot's been accomplished on the property.
Yeah.
I mean, if you drive around the property
Yeah.
beyond the golf club, there's a lot that's going on.
Yeah.
Beyond the range, there's a new section of the subdivision. I mean, things are moving again. I mean, when we first came here, this building that we're sitting in wasn't even finished yet.
That's
it was an
right.
empty shell.
And before I came in, there's no communication to speak of, like no telephone, no nothing.
Yeah.
Now we are sitting on 100 Mbps while we speak.
Yeah, things
Yeah.
things have moved on.
Yeah.
But,
And you were talking about the clubhouse being what was it? Like it was a box. What you were saying?
Yeah, it was a container.
A container there.
Yeah.
And now I think this clubhouse is one of the best looking clubhouses
It
in
is.
all of
It's a
the
gorgeous
Philippines.
design.
It's so
It's
nice.
small. It's well, my club president loves to call it like he says, we are not those high-end big golf courses. We are what you call a boutique golf course.
Okay.
Like, and you know what? It's small, but somehow that played a big part in how the members here are so united,
Yeah.
so close together,
It's a
tight
small
knit.
population.
Yeah.
Like, I'm proud to say that each and every member of the club can actually walk in here and play and come here alone, but will be able to be in a foursome because everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
Well, that
How
club-
many members total do you have? Do you know?
I'd
Roughly.
say about active playing members, a little over 250 active playing.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you allow outsiders to come in, right?
Yes, as long as they're endorsed by members or
They can call the club and make
yeah,
prior
they can call the
arrangements.
club. That's right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you would need to get income
Oh,
from
yeah,
somewhere.
I need
Right.
revenue.
Yeah.
You need revenue, right?
Well, this golf course is very Instagram worthy for those millennials. You go everywhere and you can literally take a picture and post it on Instagram,
Yeah,
and it
no,
will look
this-
amazing.
There's something about the golf courses in this area. I mean, be it Greenfields, Summit, or Malarayat, these are some of the most beautiful golf courses in the country. I mean, the location is just,
Yeah.
Okay,
it's incredible, man.
We are establishing a certain culture at the club, totally adverse from what we know. Okay, I mean, we are. I don't know how to describe it, but in Summit Point, we try to be easy on a lot of things that people frown on. Like, if you notice, we're doing the podcast, I have whiskey in front of me. Every weekend, my members at the clubhouse, they're free to play pusoy. They do sing-along. They invite a singer. They'll sing at the club.
Interesting.
Oh.
They drink. They drink as if there's no beer tomorrow.
It's like a little home away from
Yeah,
home.
it's easy. It's relaxed, and that's just how the club should be. I remember a guest of a member walked over to me and says, "Don't you get in trouble with your board for this?" I said, "Well, as long as it's decent and there's no fighting and there's no, I guess it's all right." I said. And you know what he said? You know what? Just for that, you are truly a club and the others are just golf courses.
Well, I tend to agree because one of the factors that has hindered the growth of golf is the generally held attitude that golf is a snob's game, right? We're a snobbish game. And I guess it has a lot to do with the amount of history, how old the game is and how long it's been played. I mean, if you think about the game is what, close to 200 years old, and it was just another generation then. So the standards of behavior have changed. The standards of, moral standards have changed. But golf prides itself on remaining true to its roots, true to its traditions. Unfortunately, that also, to most of the millennials, that also means that we look kind of stuck up.
Yeah, pero Mike, this would be an interesting topic to talk about. Okay, when we get old and gray, and we give up the sport for one reason or another, the sport will be inherited by what we call millennials now. And how do we get them into the game?
I know.
Psychology say they have short. Their patience is not that long. They cannot stand playing 18 holes for hours. The attention span, etc. They want something cool and easy. How do you merge that with golf?
In the end, I think the trick is just to get them out there to try it. Because I think once they try it, if the introduction was a proper introduction to the game, don't just give them a club, get out, throw them out there and expect them to have fun. It'll be the most frustrating thing they've ever done unless you bring them along slowly. But if they were exposed properly to the game, I think they take to it.
And
there's just too much that you can get from the game.
But if you notice, even the suppliers or the merchandises, it's starting to change form.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? Remember when John Daly wore those colorful pants, and there was an uproar.
Yeah.
And now almost everyone's wearing everyone's wearing them. Before, when you have colored balls, they say you're
That's
not a
right.
serious golfer.
No, that's not true anymore.
Yeah, even the fashion has increased. The type of fashion has really moved from.
I think the fashion is kind of contributing to the popularity of the game.
The no collar
making it
look.
cool, making
Exactly.
it
Exactly. I think
Making it
that is golf's challenge today, is how to make it cool.
and you can see it as well in the fairway, wherein you hear some golf carts having music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is acceptable?
I still know people that can't stand that, but that's another story.
What's acceptable? What is not?
Yeah.
How do you draw the line? Right now I'm open to offering 9-hole games.
Yeah.
Because if that's the only time you have, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I think the USGA and RNA actually did quite a bit when they changed the rules. Drastically. The biggest rule change ever in the history of golf happened earlier this year, and they basically cut 10 rules out of the rule book, right?
Yeah.
And all of that was to make the game friendlier and easier to understand, more accessible to people that don't play and that have these sentiments that it's for stuck-up old guys, why do we want to play that?
Ito ang gusto ko pag podcast tapos may whiskey. You talk about rules. I have a pet peeve with that new rule. About the player not announcing his intent. He just lifts the ball and says he's checking.
No. Yeah.
Tapos they change a lot of things, but they forgot about addressing one particular issue about the ball being in a divot, wherein it's not fair. The first flights, mga first few flights, the golf course is set up really nicely in a tournament. Tapos yung mga last flight, I'm being penalized.
Correct.
Just because there's already a divot.
Somebody played before you and you played into the same spot.
Yeah.
Well, I agree that if I get asked a lot that if there was one rule that you could change in golf, what it would be? I would say that would probably be it.
Divot.
A sandy divot should be GUR, in my opinion, and you should be allowed relief from it under the rules of ground under repair.
It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You go in a divot, You move an inch to the left or an inch to the right.
Yeah.
Just give him that.
Yeah, exactly. But as it is, that's the one rule that wasn't addressed in all of the changes.
Well, going back to the millennials, how to get the millennials to play. I've seen a lot of my friends actually start playing golf the past couple of years. And a lot of them goes back into the fashion, a lot of it goes back to business. Well, some are getting into business. And even the fashion, some of them were basketball players. So Jordan, the brand Jordan, moved into golf. They created shoes,
right, exactly.
the Jordan 11s.
Jordan's a big golfer, man.
Exactly. So they moved it to golf. So they created a lot of golf shoes. And all of my friends are wearing all of these Jordans. And they want to play more because they want to show off their fashion.
Pero, a big factor, I believe, my personal opinion, that there's a resurgence in the game. It's because Tiger Woods is back.
Yes.
That's true.
Undoubtedly.
For sure.
But we need to create a new hero.
Exactly.
He's not gonna last long anymore.
No, and look, beyond that, we need to do something here for the country. It's got to be something local.
Oh.
I believe that we've got to do something local. I mean, it would have been great, if Miguel Tabuena had won the Philippine Open back when he was playing against Mardan Mamat that one time. I mean, if he had won then, we would have had our hero. But he didn't, so we still have our work cut out in front of us. No, but more to your point, I think millennials, once they try golf, will begin to see the values. I mean, a lot of the stuff that gets you hooked on golf isn't
it's
apparent.
Not cool, eh?
Yeah, that's
you can't get them to the course because it's not a cool thing to do.
That's right. So really, in the States, you're seeing a lot of courses relax their policies.
Yeah.
Okay. Before, I mean, in some clubs here today, you still can't wear denim anywhere in the clubhouse unless you're leaving.
Yeah. Or collared shirts. Yeah, it has to be all collared shirts wherever you are.
Shirt, right? Yeah. Wherever you go. That's a place where you can start. Maybe you can allow denim in your restaurant, not on the golf course, maybe, but in your restaurant, maybe in the locker room, in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, it's just another fabric. We're not in the 70s anymore. There's no sense of rebellion. There's no denim isn't a symbol of rebellion anymore. Not like it used to be back then. It's a popular fabric that we use on our pants.
Even joggers. Well, I'm wearing one right now. Even joggers at that time when Ricky Fowler wore it, everybody was like, why is he wearing joggers?
Well, again, that goes back to you're talking about a sport where people used to play +4s and knee-high socks, man. So, and change in a sport this old comes slowly. I mean, that said, the last few years you have seen an avalanche of changes, really. Tons and tons of changes all at the same time.
Definitely.
I think there's still work to be done, but I think a lot's already been done.
Kasi not just the millennials getting into the game. Young people in general, okay? Like, you name me 10 members of my club, and I'll tell you probably only one of them has a child that plays. Parang, it's not passed on.
Yeah.
And we need to pass it on. Sayang eh. It's a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful property to have. It needs to be passed on.
One idea would be to do a sports camp, a golf camp, where you just open the doors up on, I don't know, maybe 3-4 days a year, summers, whatever.
Father and son, parent and son.
Fathers and sons, parents
and daughters.
Just it's easy enough to. I mean, we know enough pros, right? Teaching pros. We could organize a 3-day sports camp, like a Milo sports camp, something like that, but make it golf. Come out with your kids. I mean, bring everybody, bring the whole family.
I have a few friends actually who have kids, and what they tell me is that golf is dad's game.
Yeah.
I'm not like some of them don't want to bring their kids in because they don't want to get beat.
I didn't. I was one of those guys that said I wouldn't play golf until I couldn't do anything else anymore. Yeah. And guess what? That day came. It came a lot sooner than I thought. And really, now that I've played the game God, 26 years. I'm kicking myself for not starting sooner.
Yeah.
I am absolutely kicking myself for not picking this thing up sooner. So if you guys are watching out there, all you millennials, man, pick it up.
Yeah.
You'll regret it down the road if you don't. Really, I mean, no one regrets it more than I do.
Well, my wife is the opposite. She picked it up too early.
Well, no, in your wife's case, I think it was, competitive golf isn't for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And I think golf is one of the toughest sports that you can try and be competitive in. Because you're by yourself.
Yeah.
There's no one to help you. Yeah. There's no one to hold your hand.
And you are playing against yourself.
Exactly.
Your skills, your discipline.
It's easy to see why, if you play a lot of competitive golf, how you would get burned out.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But, sayang din, no? Because you have all of this talent and it's just sleeping there.
Yeah.
So, all of us that don't have so much talent are so envious.
Diba? Like, I remember while having coffee earlier, we were talking about some of the pros that have talents.
Yeah.
That kind of drifted away more mentally rather than any other reason. But the skills is there. They just need to motivate themselves.
Yeah, and it's so easy to lose perspective in golf. Like, I'm not gonna name names, but we were out there watching the pros on the putting green.
Yeah.
And instantly, I can tell the guys that are just looking at everybody. I can tell the guys that have putting issues because they have the most amount of paraphernalia down on the ground while they're practicing, while they're warming up their putts. I'm not a pro and I don't profess to be, I don't pretend to be, but in my opinion, putting is a feel thing. And the more you begin to put conscious thought into your putting, the more you're going to screw yourself up.
Yeah, the only paraphernalia I have when I'm practicing putting is 100 peso bill. That's for the bet.
And this is why we have drinks.
No, that's good motivation. That's motivation. I mean, if that doesn't motivate you, nothing will.
Yeah, but it's true. I believe that also.
Especially when you turn pro, there's so much pressure and the competition is so strong that a lot of these pros get inside their own heads. And I think that's the number one thing that slows them down. Heck, even as amateurs, I get inside my own head.
Kaya nga eh. Pero
so what more than
I don't know, but do you actually lose focus when you're hungry?
Again, I'm not gonna name names, but I was at Luisita and I was right next to a couple of pros, and they were working on their irons, right? They're working on their iron swing, and you could see that they were searching. And I'm like, God, what are you guys searching for? And everything needed to be perfect. The takeaway, the position at the top. I go, dude, just go out and I wanted to tell him, man, but I'm not a pro, right? I wanted to put my hand on him and go, dude, just play. Just forget about all that nonsense. You're not going to hit the ball with your backswing anyway.
I guess that's the reason why we are amateurs and they are pros.
No, that's true. And nothing to take nothing away from them, right? Because the amount of pressure that they're under to make money week in and week out is tremendous. I mean, if you don't make the cut, you don't get paid, and you're out money. Right, because you have to travel to the tournament.
And it's an expensive game in terms of being competitive.
You're paying for your caddy. You're footing all your expenses, and you don't get a paycheck unless you make the cut. Mm-hmm. See, I mean, that's where golf is so different. If you're a pro basketball player, you've got a guaranteed contract. Yeah, you got a monthly salary.
Yeah, you sit on the bench, it's fine. You get money.
Sit on the bench, you get paid anyway. Yeah. In golf, if you don't play, you don't get paid. Period.
Tapos today, if you notice, there's a lot of Aussies, Japanese,
right?
Even more pressure. And they're playing against the same money as the Filipinos, are. But how much is it to come here from Australia?
Exactly.
That's right.
Hotel and all that. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's not about the money. They have this hunger for success. Now, where do you get that? How do you pull that off? How do you influence yourself to do better? Just for that, for the glory.
With them, it's these guys have loftier. This is a stopover on the way, on a longer journey for them, because their goal ultimately is one of the larger tours.
Ang sad reality kasi, some of the local pros, they get supporters, give them balls, give them clubs. Give it about a couple of weeks. Those balls, those clubs, sold
everything.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
sad.
Sad eh.
Yeah, they don't realize that those are their tools for their livelihood, and I don't know, but it would seem to me, if I was supporting somebody and I found out that he was just selling the stuff that I was giving him, that support would dry up pretty quick, But I understand also, because life is hard here. Life is hard for them because they're not advantaged like some of the younger pros that have come from better families. But you can't compromise your livelihood, and you can't get in your head like that.
Ayan, may bagong angle. I mean, the other Asian pros, I don't think they're privileged also, but they have very strong corporate backings that pays for it.
Correct.
So I guess it also boils down to, we have good golfers, we have good professionals, but because there's a lot of tournaments, but the lack of coverage thereof discourages corporate backings.
That's
Yeah,
true
that's
also. That's true. TV is huge. Basically, if a sport isn't on TV, it's gonna struggle to get corporate sponsorship.
I mean, this is one of the
backing.
reasons why we started this podcast, is because we want to also cover
Yes.
the untold stories about golf, and also
Yeah,
the things
no, and-
that's happening on the golf course right
and
now.
I've had off mic conversations with Luigi Tabuena of the PGT, and we had talked about doing player profiles of especially the younger pros that can serve as inspiration to the kids these days that want to look at golf as a lifetime sport and possibly a source of their livelihood. So they're going to be very supportive in that angle, but unless we can come up with a TV contract of some kind, I mean, even just limited TV coverage, highlight package would be good.
Knowing the struggles that they're going through, about 16 pros are actually staying and sleeping here at Summit Point.
Oh,
So they don't have to pay for hotel and all that.
Okay.
And just helping out, our own little way of helping out.
Yeah.
We let them sleep here in the complex, comfortable. I let them use the gym, so for them to warm up a little bit, and they have complete shower facilities and all that. And that idea is actually not original to us. It's an inspiration because Jerick started it all. Jerick
That's right.
Cachanova.
He does the same thing in Louisiana.
That's right. So I see the benefit, and I see the goodwill that is providing these pros, and I'd like to do my own little share as well. So they sleep here. We give them locker facilities to shower. Kaya they're quite happy here, and I just want them. I don't want them to think about how they will get their money or the other worries. I just want them to focus on their game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's the trouble that I think a lot of our local pros have, because they're besieged by monetary issues, their families, their children, the extended family. I mean, that's just the story of being a Filipino. It affects their game. It affects their ability to perform properly. So anything that you guys can do, I mean, hats off to you guys, man. Hats off to you and to Jerick and to everybody else that does their bit to help the game.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is you have a very interesting member here. Also, part owner of the golf course. Vice Governor Mark Leviste. What's it like having him as a member?
Mark, or Vice, he's very passionate about the game. There was a stretch in his political life that he was on a break because he didn't win any position. That was about a 2-year period. From an almost beginner, he was able to bring down his handicap to close to 12, 13. And he's very passionate about it. That's the reason why he brought in World Amateur Golf, and right now he wants me to help him out, do a full circuit, amateur circuit for Batangas, basically to complement his advocacy on tourism. Then I'll angle it towards golf tourism. So the industry is fortunate to have people like him who thinks about the game, even if they're busy with their political life. He still thinks about how to improve the industry. Kasi, like my worry earlier, that how do I pass it on? We need that circuit. We need the game to be popular here. We need the game to have acceptance of the community so that there will be more people who will get into the game.
Correct. Can you just draw in broad strokes what this Batangas golf circuit is going to be like?
Well, we're looking at about from our last count, I'm not sure if this is accurate though. We have about 9 golf courses around Batangas. And we're looking at probably at the start, about 6 to 7 of these golf courses. Getting them together and making a circuit tournament.
Having each club
host one leg. And at the same time, there's gonna be something like a 2-in-1 tournament, wherein you have leg winners and you have an order of merit. At the end of the circuit, you get the.
So you can have like a playoff to top off the.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, you get the top 16, the order of merit, do a match play
or something like that.
That's right.
Playoff, make it more fun.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds cool. It'll be open to everyone, though.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it is. Well,
cool.
I mean, it's tourism, so might as well get everyone in.
Yeah. Oh, we need to sit down though, because after our last show, we have a lot of ideas about tourism.
Talaga?
Yeah.
No, because we interviewed Ricky Alegre and former ASEC of Tourism, and Mining Marvilla, the president of the Iloilo Golf and Country Club, and they were fresh off the Iloilo Golf Summit, and they're trying to get things rolling with the government. The key to really opening up the golf industry here would be to get some kind of government backing that would allow tax incentives for the clubs in order for them to open up the doors to tourists.
Speaking of opening up the doors.
Okay,
I am actually celebrating my 20th month in Summit Point. Tama ba? 20th month? No, 22nd month.
Okay,
because I got back to Summit January of 2018. So I'm celebrating my 22nd month. November, December. Tama. Okay. So the first 8, starting from 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 na magbibigay ng comments on our podcast gets a green fee.
There you go.
So 2 flights na yon. 2 flights yon. 8 people. You get to come here and play for free.
There you go.
You heard it. So comment on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vic.
Hindi natin pinag-usapan
No,
yan.
we didn't talk about that. That wasn't planned. So.
And once this bottle gets to the middle, probably I'll throw in a card.
Oh, we're going to be here a while. No, but that's really great, Pare. Where do you see the club moving to? I mean, you've already done a lot. How much more do you see in front of you?
Well, right now the biggest challenge is to increase the membership roster. I'm looking at about, and I'm a long ways to go. I mean, for me to break even just on monthly dues alone, I need about 800 members.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're like a quarter of the way.
Yeah.
No,
So I'm still a long
third
ways.
of the way.
Yes.
So every time I get to meet my members, I always ask them to be patient with us, especially now we're entering the peak season, so-called peak season, wherein I still have a Korean contract, and I cannot simply remove them because they're the ones that help us get through. Okay?
No, it's one of the realities of golf in this
So
country.
right now we are at the point wherein we are trying to make Summit Point part of the conversation, to build trust and confidence in the brand, and hopefully after that we will get more subscription in terms of shares. Once we're there and I reach that critical number, then I guess I've done my part and it's up to the board what's next.
What they want to do.
Yeah.
But let me just say that really and I've been coming here pretty much since the club opened, right? I've seen tremendous amount of changes. Even in the times where the course really went downhill, when there was not too much grass on the greens and it looked like they wouldn't recover. Driving around the golf course today, I must say that I was very, very pleasantly surprised. It's true there may be a lot more local grass on the fairways, and we discussed about the infestation of paspalum on a lot of the greens, but again, those aren't necessarily bad things because the fairways look really, really good, and because you've cut them down to really playable heights, the disadvantage on playing on Carabao grass is really gone. I mean, it's not like other courses where you have to be so gentle with your angle of attack. Now you can hit down on the ball, you can pick it clean, you can do what you want with it.
Mike, thank you for that, and coming from you, it's truly appreciated.
It's deserved.
But I cannot claim credit for that. First of all, basically, just like in a basketball organization, I'm just a coach. Okay, I have players, moving parts here, and a big part of how the course looks like is mainly credited to VMJ, Jelly Palmes, Mike Singaran. By the way, Mike, get well soon. Okay, be strong, be well, buddy. Okay, Mike Singaran, Jelly Palmes, they're doing a tremendous job. My only part in all of this is probably I'm like the nagging wife. I'm just there barking all the time, but no bite, mind you, no bite. It's just all bark and basically
but you have to give direction, right? I mean,
yes.
No matter how good the contractor is, without the proper direction, some things are going to be left undone.
And of course, my board. I mean, I cannot get any better than what I have right now. They gave me the steering wheel. They told me, bring this club to where you want it to, as long as you don't ask money from us. No, I'm just kidding. No, they told me, okay, we see what you want, and we agree with how you want it. We know that you're brand conscious, then go ahead. By all means, develop the brand, and
That's a good recipe for long-term management decision, right? I mean, that's a kind of backing that'll keep you here for a long time, and it should pay off in long-term results also. I mean, the course is in great shape. If you can push through, if you can accelerate the transition towards Paspalum on the greens, I think you'll be even better off in the near future.
Later, when we have time after the show, I'll drive you around. I'll show you my Paspalum nursery. I have a Paspalum nursery. Okay, it's like this. When I got here, I saw that there was majority of the infestation is Paspalum. And I'm even surprised with the variety of Paspalum. It's seashore Paspalum.
So, and we're far from the seashore.
Yeah. So, I mean, rather than fight it, which would be very costly, I mean, I encourage it. I built a nursery.
No, and that's really the smart thing to do. I mean, what I've found out is that it matters a lot less what grass is on the greens.
Yeah.
Rather than how healthy that grass is. Because once the grass is healthy, you can double cut, double roll, do whatever you want to get the playing conditions that you want. Yeah. Right? I mean, withhold water, make it hard, whatever. Because it's healthy, it'll stand up to it.
And you saw what we did today.
Yeah, no. Exactly to my point again. 100%, right? The course is in fabulous shape. The greens, we watched a few pros over a bunch of different holes, and to my recollection, I didn't see one ball hop or bounce or do anything other than what it should have done on the greens.
Yeah.
So that's just a sign that the greens are healthy for the most part and are taking well to this kind of treatment. And they're not slow. They're rolling 12 today, and they'll probably get a little faster before the weekend. So if the greens can stand up to that, you're in good shape, bud.
Right after this World 18 Challenge, we will do a little bit of rehab work. You will see some changes on hole number 5, the par 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, we're not gonna make it short. We're not gonna.
I don't think there's any chance of that.
Yeah, we're gonna fix it up, especially the landing areas, because
they have gotten a little soft. No?
Yes, it's when we constructed it. It's not the design flaw. It's more of through time the undulations have changed, and that water is not running off to the drain as it was designed. So we're gonna do some earth moving works on hole number 5 and in the landing area of 6 and a little bit on the fairway of number 7. That's basically it. Then after which you will see a building rise on the right side of the clubhouse by the parking lot, wherein we will build a golf cart storage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Down at the bottom there.
Yes, we will build a golf cart storage because early this year we bought 40 golf carts, brand new golf carts. Yeah, we bought. After all, I mean, if it's revenue that you're looking for, golf carts are one of your best bet on revenue.
It is.
We probably have some of the cheapest cart rental in the industry. And this was inspired by Elena. They have the caddy mobilization.
Correct.
So my golf carts are, if you're sharing with a friend, it's 850 for a cart, for a buggy. But if you're riding along and you're gonna have your caddy right beside you for faster mobility, I'm giving it for 500.
Wow, that's a deal.
So if it's 850 for the two of you, that's what, 425 each? I'd add 75 more.
You got your own cart.
Yeah, that's
a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, that's good thinking. And And Elena does get a lot of speedy play because they encourage one player, one cart with one caddy.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, you can move people through the golf course a lot better.
Yeah.
And very soon, I just cannot tell you when, but very soon, you will see a new look on my caddies. We're gonna revamp their uniforms.
Okay.
They're gonna look better than how they are right now.
More things to look forward to at Summit Point.
Yeah.
Well, that was a really interesting conversation, Vic. Thanks so much for hosting us here today.
Oh, no problem. Anytime, bud.
So if you guys haven't come down to Summit Point, I think this would be a really good time to do it.
Yeah.
They're just coming off the PGT Asia this week. So next week the course is going to be in spectacular condition.
Yeah.
So if you're planning to come down and play, that would be a time to do it.
And we will have a very short video on Summit Point that we will release with this podcast on YouTube. It will be available on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a surprise. Well, you guys will love it.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love it.
By the way, shameless plug, okay? Come over, play, look for me. I'll probably give you a good deal if you're a big group, 4, 5, 6, 8 people. Also, I don't think I mentioned this to Mike, but being a Summit Point member, you are actually a member of 11 other clubs. Because we have a lot of reciprocal clubs.
Reciprocity.
On top of the Santa Lucia courses, wherein you are an automatic, you're given automatic access to those golf clubs at 50% discount of the green fee.
Right.
There are other clubs outside of the Santa Lucia courses that we are reciprocal with. We have Calatagan, we have East Ridge, we have Sherwood Hills,
Navia, if I remember correctly, too.
Apo.
Yeah.
We have the two Bacolod golf courses, and so on and so forth. So
And what is your share price now?
300
Wow,
for
that's a
Class
deal.
A, 400 for Class B, and 500 for Class C. Mind you, you look for the same price in the secondary market, nobody's selling.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nobody's selling. I think I mentioned this to you. We posted on, a friend of mine posted on GGNA because he wanted to test if I'm selling it higher than it should. So they posted at 150, nobody's selling. He posted at 300, nobody's selling.
So he's no bites, huh?
No bites.
At all. Okay. Well, there you go. That's just more testament that the club's on the way up and people are holding on to it because they can see the value is rising to where it should be. They're not going to sell.
For those golfers who actually want to inquire about the shares, how can they contact Summit Point?
Come over. If you're really interested to buy, come over. I'll throw in a free round of golf for you.
Oh, I can't. There's no better incentive than that. All right, Vic, thanks so much, bud. It was a pleasure. We'll do this again, huh?
Yeah.
Kulang wala tayong cigars.
Oh, now we definitely have to do another issue.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Thanks again for joining us here on T-Boys. We'll see you again at the next show.
Bye.